Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Shdows Secrit, where the shadows whisper and the secrets never sleep. Today, we dive into 5 more terrifying and unexplained time-slip cases, moments when ordinary people found themselves somewhere, or somewhen, that simply shouldn't exist. These are not dreams, hallucinations, or illusions. These are real accounts from eyewitnesses, police records, and diaries, stories so chilling they blur the line between reality and the impossible. Our first story takes us to Liverpool, England, in 1996, when a man named Frank was walking down Bold Street on an ordinary day, heading to a bookstore when suddenly the world changed. He turned a corner and found himself surrounded by people dressed in vintage clothing from decades past, with old-fashioned vehicles filling the streets. The air smelled of coal smoke. The sounds of modern life were gone, and every shop and storefront looked decades old, including one called Crips, which historical records confirmed had closed long ago. Frank experienced a profound sense of being watched, a disorienting mix of fear and awe before the scene flickered and he was back in the present as if nothing had happened. Witnesses later reported similar experiences on Bold Street, suggesting that certain locations may be temporary, fault lines in time where the past bleeds into the present. Our second story takes us to France in 1979, involving 2 English couples, the Simpsons and the Gisbys, who were driving to Spain for a vacation. Late one night, they stopped at a small hotel that appeared ordinary at first, but upon closer inspection, the staff wore antique uniforms. The furniture and decor were decades out of date, and no modern lighting existed anywhere. They paid in French francs and spent the night in peace. But when they tried to return days later, the hotel had vanished entirely. The road they had traveled led to an empty field, and although they had photographs from the night, the images refused to develop, leaving behind only the haunting memory of a place that may have existed only for a brief, impossible moment. The third case is known as the Vanishing Pilot of 1935, involving British Air Marshal Sir Victor Goddard, who, while flying over an abandoned airfield in Edinburgh, witnessed the base below transform before his eyes. One moment it was crumbling and overgrown. The next, it was bustling with bright yellow aircraft, mechanics in blue uniforms, and the sounds of activity. Yet, when he landed and reported the experience, no such airfield existed. Years later, in 1939, the airfield reopened exactly as he had seen it, with the yellow planes and blue uniforms that had seemed so futuristic at the time, suggesting that Goddard had briefly glimpsed a future version of reality. Our fourth story is the bizarre account of the man from Taured in Tokyo, 1981, when a man arrived at Haneda Airport with a passport from a country no one had ever heard of, Taured, supposedly located between France and Spain. Officials were baffled. He produced a map, identification, and documents that seemed legitimate, yet the nation of Taured did not exist. He was detained overnight in a secure hotel room, only to vanish without a trace the next morning, leaving behind no evidence of entry or exit. Some speculate he had slipped back to his own timeline. Others fear he may have been erased entirely by forces beyond comprehension. Finally, in Spain, 2008, a woman named Maria experienced a modern-day time slip while driving near Seville. Taking a wrong turn, she found herself surrounded by cars from the 1970s, billboards advertising products no longer made, and a gas station charging in pesetas, Spain's old currency. Panicked, she continued driving until a blinding light engulfed her, and she was back on a modern highway, her GPS fully functioning again. When she attempted to find the gas station afterward, it had vanished, though local archives confirmed a station had existed decades earlier. All 5 of these cases share terrifying similarities. Sudden environmental shifts, sensory distortions, vivid immersion in another time, and sometimes physical evidence that remains inexplicable. Scientists have tried to explain these experiences as hallucinations, temporal disorientation, or electromagnetic interference, yet such explanations fail to account for shared experiences or material evidence. Some researchers theorize that these are natural folds in spacetime, triggered by geomagnetic anomalies, high-stress conditions, or heightened psychic sensitivity, while others suggest they may be echoes of alternate timelines bleeding into our reality. Perhaps the most unsettling idea is that these are not slips into the past at all, but glimpses of alternate futures or parallel worlds, where different versions of events continue to unfold simultaneously. It raises a haunting question. How many times have we walked through a familiar place and felt something slightly off, a shadow moving where no one stood, a sound from decades ago? Could these minor sensations be the first tremors of a time slip, warning us that the linearity of our existence is an illusion? The stories of Frank in Liverpool, the vanished hotel in France, Sir Victor Goddard's airfield, the mysterious traveler from Taured and Maria near Seville all point to a world where time is not fixed, but fluid, bending, folding, and occasionally swallowing those unlucky enough to stumble across its weak points. Some return to tell the story, some do not. The universe seems to have hidden corridors where the present and past, or even the future, overlap for a brief, fleeting instant, offering ordinary people a glimpse into realms they were never meant to see. What we call history may be alive, constantly replaying itself, sometimes inviting or pulling forward those who are sensitive or lucky enough to cross its path. And if these events have taught us anything, it is this. The past never truly disappears, the future is never fully secure, and the thin fabric of time can tear, even for just a heartbeat, allowing moments from other eras to appear, interact, and vanish before our eyes. Every corner, every street, every forgotten building could hold the key to a timeline that runs parallel to our own, and the people who experience these slips are the unintentional witnesses to a reality most of us will never comprehend. So the next time you feel a chill while walking down a street, see an unfamiliar shadow, or notice something that seems just out of place, remember that the world we know is only one thread in a vast tapestry. Somewhere, hidden between seconds and centuries, time waits, ready to fold, to overlap, and to remind us that the present is never as secure as it seems. These 5 cases are proof that time is not a straight line, but a living, breathing entity, capable of bending and twisting, ensnaring the unsuspecting in moments that are both impossible and unforgettable. And as long as we continue to move forward, there will always be those rare, terrifying instances when the past, the present, and the future collide, leaving behind witnesses whose lives will never be the same. The lessons are clear. Observe carefully, question reality, and never assume that what you see is the only timeline. Because in the shadowed corners of the world, time is always watching, always waiting, and sometimes it swallows those who dare to notice its secrets. Thank you for watching Shdows Secrit. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more terrifying stories from the shadows.